Today, I'm talking about innovative real estate strategies. What are some of the most innovative real estate strategies on the market today? By the end of the video, I'm going to break down for you one of the most innovative real estate investment strategies out there that I've come up with over the last 12 months that is an absolute game changer for creating cash flow every month as well as building wealth. What if I told you that there are new innovative real estate strategies popping up fairly frequently? Have you ever thought, are there some strategies I've never even heard of? Well, stick with me as I dive into these topics and cover some of the strategies you might have never heard of. But first, I want to dive into the topic of the foundations of real estate investing. Next, I'm going to cover a couple of strategies that are innovative that I've actually just learned over the last few years. And finally, share with you the most innovative real estate investing strategy that I've come up with over the last 12 months that is creating cash flow every month as well as building wealth. If you're ready, let's go. One of the reasons I've always been a fan of real estate investing is because of the innovation. For a long time, I felt like real estate didn't have a ton of innovation in there. It was buy a piece of property, hold on to it, rent it out, and then make money that way, right? Long-term rentals. But over the last 2 decades, I've seen a ton of innovation come about in real estate. I started my real estate investing career probably about 22 years ago. And in those 2 decades, I've seen some completely innovative strategies. And even in the last couple of years, I've seen some strategies that I didn't know about that are completely innovative, that have kind of knocked the socks off me, knowing that more are popping up all the time. As I mentioned, probably the foundation of real estate investing started out with just buying properties and holding them, right? And renting them out. Let's take single family homes, for example. They are the bedrock of real estate investing, right? Single family homes will probably never go out of style. Now, could they go down in value? Absolutely. But is there always going to be a demand for renting those out? Absolutely. I think one statistic shows that probably 93 to 95% of single family homes are rented out almost all the time. So there's an extremely low vacancy rate when it comes to single family homes. And think about it this way. You have an appreciating asset that you're renting out to somebody who is paying your bills as well as paying down your mortgage. And if you have that asset for a long period of time, eventually that mortgage is paid down, the asset appreciates, and all of a sudden you have wealth that you're creating. And if you've done that multiple times, you're creating massive wealth for yourself. Another bedrock strategy in real estate is something called wholesaling, right? This is actually how I got started in real estate by accident. But wholesaling is when you can negotiate a really good price on a piece of property, get it below market value, and you're able to turn around and assign that contract or flip that contract to somebody else at a more retail price and make the difference between the two. So if you found a $300,000 piece of property and you got it under contract for say $250,000, and you're able to assign the contract for somebody, say $275,000, you can make the difference between $250,000 and $275,000, and the person's still getting it a little bit below retail. That's a great strategy. I know people that are doing this all day long, every day, and some have streamlined it to where it's a massive business for them. But let's take a look at the strategies that have become absolutely innovative over the last 2 decades. Number one is short-term rentals. If you went back 20 years ago, you never heard of Airbnb or short-term rentals. Now it is one of the biggest strategies out there on the market where you can own a property and people that vacation or travel can stay in there for a short period of time versus a long period of time. And it can even be at vacation destinations where you can utilize it yourself. So short-term rentals, vacation rentals is a fairly innovative, newer strategy that has popped on the market. Another one is sub-2 investing. Now that might have been around for a while, but it's become more popular as some thought leaders out there have started utilizing it and educated on it in great detail, right? So sub-2 essentially is you find a property that somebody owns, and maybe the market isn't in a situation where they can turn around and sell it. Maybe they even owe a little bit more than what it's worth, right? But you could go ahead, maybe they got a good interest rate or they got a good loan on the property. You can turn around and you can buy the property subject to the current loan, right? So you're making their payments for them, and you might have to put some money down to get that property, but typically you're able to put a little bit of money down, secure that property, and you own that property subject to the current loan. And with interest rates being at 6.5%, almost 7% right now, and if somebody has an interest rate at say 2 or 3%, that's a great deal. It's a great strategy to do right now, subject to. Another one that's popped up fairly recently is something called co-living or cohabitating. This is where you have a property that maybe has 3, 4, 5 bedrooms, and you rent out each bedroom, right? And there's a couple of companies out there that do a lot of the work for you. One called SplitPad, where they do some of the legalese associated with having multiple tenants in one dwelling. But that's a great way where you're charging per room rather than for the full house. right? So if you have somebody renting out this room for $800 and you have 4 other people doing the same thing, you're making $4,000 a month, $800 per room in a 5-bedroom, making $4,000 a month versus say maybe $2,800 a month in rent for that property. That's another strategy that's just popped up. But the strategy I'm really excited about right now that I've come up with over the last 12 months, and it really solved a problem that I was having when I was doing a strategy called slow flips. That's a strategy I've learned over the last 12 to 18 months. There was a great strategy, but the problem with slow flips was that there wasn't any cash flow, not a lot of cash flow coming in every single month. So instead of using a land contract, I switched it out with a lease option and did something a little bit different to where it was cash flowing really good every single month. I wasn't taking much money out of my pocket at all. I was utilizing a private lender, and I was lease optioning this property to somebody else. And once again, negotiating a very low price and selling it at a higher price, called cash flow flipping. It is an absolute game changer and one that is creating cash flow every single month for me and producing great wealth doing it as well. And it's a strategy I go into great detail in this video. If you want to understand this strategy that you can do right now that is absolutely innovative, just click on the video below. Thanks for stopping by. Have an amazing day.